Hi guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm glad you're here. I hope you stay. I would really appreciate that. So I'm trying a new format of videos today. I'm gonna be reading stories, crazy stories from doctors, nurses, and people who are just in the medical area. And yeah, let's dive into it. I hope you subscribe, put a like and comment what topics you want to hear next, and let's get into it. So, first story. As a paramedic responded to a call of traffic accident, baby ejected. Oh no. We prepared for the worst we could imagine. Arrive in about 8 minutes. Trooper on scene trying to clear the area of bystanders, gawkers, and preserve the scene. We had covered the baby with yellow death sheet troopers. Yeah, doesn't sound good. Carry in their trunks. Lifted the sheet to check vitals, pronounced death, and it was not a baby, but the top half of a 19-year-old. What? That was driving in a small pickup truck about 50 yards away. She was driving and arguing with her 19-year-old husband, who was the passenger. They were doing about 55 miles per hour on a 2-lane road and met an oncoming truck pulling a double-wide mobile home. She ran under the front corner of the mobile home, cutting her in half. Her bottom half remained in the driver's seat, while her unhurt husband watched as the truck skidded another 50-60 yards, sideswiping a minivan, sending it into the ditch upside down. When the truck came to rest, her bottom half fell out onto the ground. We also found a trail of ribs from the cab to the bed and down to the pavement to the top half. It looked like a movie set. Her top and bottom looked unhurt, but from mid-chest to about pelvis was strung along the road. The husband was absolutely freaking out about what he had just seen. He was babbling incoherently, running around, swinging at people, just a mess. A witness who lived right in front of the scene started having chest pains, I get you, and had to be transported. We took the husband and I called medical control and actually got orders to give him evaluating, not sure how you pronounce this, something paramedics normally can only give for grand mal seizures. The driver of the big truck was fine, but he was also very, very distraught at what he just has witnessed. That was 16 years ago, and I can still remember pulling up to that scene like it was yesterday. Yeah, that's crazy. But why did they say that it was a baby at the beginning? I don't get it. Oh, maybe people saw like a part of her body and they thought it was small because it was just a part, and they thought maybe this was the baby. That's really no way. No, I can't believe this. I'm glad I was not the witness. Yeah. Let's go on to the next story. Second story. I work in a pediatric hospital as a nursing assistant. I also work in the pediatric ER on a pretty regular basis, where I do bed cleaning, patient transport, patient care, etc. So when you go into an emergency ward, you typically get triaged first to judge the level of care you need when you will be seen, and then you're brought back later. It all depends. So sometimes people are able to walk past and just gain access without seeing a nurse or anyone else. Usually they're just escorted back out into the waiting room. So one day I was standing by a desk watching some going-ons near the hallway where patients are brought back, when this couple approached me, carrying a car seat with the blanket pulled all the way over, covering up this baby. Again, babies, I can't. These people looked like they were on drugs and reeked like cigs. Do you pronounce it like that? I'm not sure. But that's a pretty normal occurrence where I work, in a city surrounded by ghetto. So they ask me if this is the emergency room. I tell them yes, it is. Have you seen a nurse yet? They say no, so I take them back out to the triage nurse and go back to chillin'. 20 seconds later, that nurse comes running back with the car seat in the hand, with an obvious dead blue and gray baby. I'm talking Smurf blue and ivory. No. Oh my god. So everyone runs into the trauma bay, but this kid was stiff as a board. Like so stiff they couldn't even open the mouth to attempt to intubate. As it turns out, the nurse in the triage asked what they were coming in for today. The dad said he stopped breathing. That was when she pulled the blanket down and saw him and ran him back. Were the parents so calm that their baby is like not breathing? Like if the nurse would bring me back to the waiting room, I would have never been so calm. Like there is no way. I don't understand those people. I don't think I've ever felt more horrified in my life after seeing all that unfold. The nurse in charge that day started giving me shit, asking why I didn't get anyone sooner. But these people didn't look visibly upset. Yeah, exactly, that's what I'm talking about. And gave no indication that anything was wrong. So how was I supposed to know? Luckily, everyone else stood up for me, and I was advised in the future to always just take a look at every kid I see that's brought in through improper channels. On a side note, I now refuse to tell or listen to any dead baby jokes. Poor kid. Yeah. Don't do drugs. I think that's the only thing I can advise in that situation. Yeah. So we have a third story. That is actually a funny story. So I worked in OR and had a teenage patient that weighed 150 kilograms and was a clinical psychotic. He was known to be violent and wake up from anesthesia, so we were prepared with 4 burly, including me guys, surrounding the OR table at the end of the case. When he opened his eyes, they got really wide, and then he started crying. Not just whimpering, but full on lip. Wait. There is a mistake here. Okay, so he was crying. Yeah. It broke my heart. So as I was standing near the head of the table, I leaned down, probably not the smartest thing, yeah, and asked him, dude, what do you need? So, which he responded those shudders you get when you cry talk. I just want a hug. Oh no. I reached down and gave him a big old bear hug, and he quieted right down and relaxed. Got a bunch of aw from all the nurses in the room too. Boy, that's such a sweet story. Yeah. I love it. That's so cool. Story number 4. I worked in the dementia unit of a nursing home for 6 months. My first day there was a woman there who had previously been in a mental hospital, and when I went to go talk to her, she points out the window and says, "See those kids out there? Aren't they beautiful?" Okay. There were no kids, but I went along with it. Then she goes, "I didn't mean to burn them. I didn't mean to kill my children." Did you just confess a murder, Mrs.? Anyway. A couple of weeks later, I had a man that was completely covered in. This happens often in dementia units, and a lot of the men are too embarrassed to let you clean them up. I hadn't learned this yet and was still technically training, and this man was too big for me to help him on my own. A more experienced woman came in with me, and he got so mad that we were trying to help him that he tried to deck me in the jaw, but I ducked and he started choking the girl next to me. What the hell? Another woman would sit in the corner of dining facility with a cup of coffee and a box of tissues. She'd start to line up every tissue perfectly, then start screaming that she needs help. Oh no, somebody need to remove those tissues. She'd start banging her coffee cup on the table. Then when you ask her what was wrong, she wouldn't know what she wanted, but wouldn't let you get her food either. She yelled at everyone and would get extremely violent. She threw hot tomato soup at me. Oh my god. Pulled my hair, pinched and twisted every part of me so she could reach, punched and kicked. Damn. Okay. My last week working there, a woman fell out of her wheelchair to the floor and was passed out. I forgot what happened to cause that, and a bunch of A's rushed to try and help her. She'd gone into a seizure. Oh no. And the nurses tried to sedate her afterwards because she was violent with everyone and in danger of hurting herself. When I was called in to help, I was told to hold her down on the bed because she kept finding ways to get cuts all over her body. I couldn't hold her down at all. This woman had brute strength, even after all sedatives. Needless to say, every time I came home from that job, I would be covered in excrement, body fluids, bruises, food, and cuts, even teeth marks. I now sell frozen yogurt. Oh my god, this is so funny. I now sell frozen yogurt. That's definitely more peaceful. That's a hard job. I can't imagine working there. My self-preservation instincts will be rising. But we need people like this still, you know. It's not their fault. They have a mental issue, so obviously they need help. So yeah, let's go to the next story. So the last story is again really crazy. Okay. I'm too late for this one, but whatever. A PTSD dementia patient, that's a bad combo. Patient broke my arm. I was a one-to-one watch with this man who was sundowning and kept trying to pull off his oxygen mask. So I was there next to him, and every few minutes for hours I would have to say, "Mr. So-and-so, it's me, Diana. I'm going to fix your oxygen mask, okay?" Well, what felt like the 1000th time I did that, he freaked and grabbed my wrist with incredible strength considering his age and size. Then he looked me in the eye and said, "I'm going to break your fucking arm." And he did. I would quit the job right away. After getting treated, I was back with him and his family came. He was lucid then and had no idea what he had done and went on and on about what a wonderful girl I am and how helpful I've been. Oh no. I can't. This is actually horrifying. What mental illness does to the brain, how it changes you when you don't even notice this, when you enter stages, I would say trance, where you don't even know what you do. And when you get out of the stage, you don't know what you have done before. So that's actually crazy. And I'm really glad we have people like this who are ready to help people, because those people deserve this, because they're not, in charge of what they do when they have a diagnosis. Yeah. I think I'm gonna continue reading this page of crazy stories. Yes. Let me know what you thought about the video and if I should do another one, and if yes, then which topic. Feel free to write in the comments. And I'm gonna probably do also the other topics which I wrote in my post on YouTube. So yes. P.S. Don't judge my editing. I'm gonna put some sound effects now. So thank you for watching, gorgeous. If you have stayed here, I'm really glad you did. And see you the next time.